Oh, some of my buttons aren't working. There you go. Anyway, we're live. It's Saturday. Some of the boats are already in Rodriguez, so we should have now Reno, who was in first. Then it was Holiday Dan, and then Kerry is in, and I think Peeler is just about to arrive. So our viewing audience will be cut back from about 23,000, because a lot of those follow the leaders, to probably about 10,000 live viewers here on Facebook and YouTube simultaneously. Ooh, it's so popular. But anyway, thanks for following. I'm not sure who'll turn up, and I usually try and have something to talk about 580s. The one thing I did yesterday, I said, "Oh, there's something I needed to tell you," and it was just that we had the 580s for sale section on the Class Globe 580 website under the resources. Okay, so you get onto the website, go to resources, and you'll find there all the builders' blogs and all sorts of stuff. But there's a flashed section that says boats for sale. And very shortly, when Rob's up and about, we're going to also put it on the opening homepage of the Class Globe 580, and also homepage of the Transat Race website and homepage of the Mini Globe Race website. So as soon as you get to the boxes, you'll see a box there that says boats for sale, and you can hit it. And the objective of all of that is to actually have a situation where at least there is one central location where you can find out what boats are for sale, how much they are, and all that sort of stuff. It's a knowledge and a central receptacle, because we've had a few situations in the past where people have had their boats for sale. No one that would be what I call the normal market, someone that wants a 580, was aware of that, or not enough aware of it. And so what happens is you have a beautiful boat, which is worth an absolute fortune, 50 grand to build, 50, 60 grand to build. And it's sold for less than 20 grand because it was sold by the broker as a 19-foot trailer sailor. Okay. Now, they're not 19-foot trailer sailors, they're Class Globe 580s. So that's the whole concept behind at least getting it in one place. So all the rowing boats do something similar. If you want to know where the rowing boats are, you go to there. They've got like a rowing association. You go there and you can always see all the rowing boats that are there. And I thought that's a good idea. We should do the same. So that's up and running. And then I'll talk about my boat. So I've had about, must be up to 18 or 19 boats now, over the years. And I just had a shocking situation happen, which made me think, crikey, this is getting ridiculous. It's outrageous. But anyway, I'll talk about that after the tracker. You'll probably have a good laugh. And when I was looking for some pictures this weekend, I couldn't find something specific for 580. I said, I'll talk about bloody boats, because when you own a boat, everything costs money. But there's a real funny thing going on at the moment with me and boats. So anyway, let's get to the tracker. That's what you're here for. It's kind of interesting. They seem to be having a good ride. So that's all cool. So you're on the tracker now, and I am going to the tracker. So I'm on the tracker here. Oh, we haven't got the laps and longs in. So there we go. And Peeler's right on top of it. So let's see. Yeah, they're all 8 o'clock positions, so that's good. And Josh, they've all got a pretty good sail. It's getting a little bit lighter, but it hasn't kicked in yet. I think it's going to arrive just after Peeler gets in. So there'll be, remembering there is a 2-day gap between Adam and Peeler, and that will be sorted out when we do the rankings for time on the water. So they're a little bit closer. But now what's going to happen is it's going to be these guys are going to slow down maybe. So that 2-day gap could extend. The leaders getting in first is going to give them a break, I think. But let's see. So I'll just build that up a little bit, pull this down a little bit, make it a bit bigger. Oh, we've got 222 days and 20 hours on the water so far since the start. And here we go. So Josh down the back here, 5.4 knots and doing 119 miles. That's not too bad. Entrant, 126 miles, 5.4 knots. So Entrant's on a roll. Jasmine sitting there, 5.5 knots, 120. So that means Entrant actually did 6 miles more than Jasmine. Something's happened. 5.5 for Eric and 124 miles. Everyone's doing pretty well. Christian pulling up behind Jacob there by the look of it, 5.2 and 119 mile day. Jacob 5.3 and 121 mile day. So just Christian can't quite catch him. He offered to give him a blanket if he was too cold, but he doesn't want to stop. Adam 5.3 knots and 124. So all doing pretty well. Now let's just pick this up for Peeler. She's not far away now. And Kerry did alter course. He must have been tacking down the other day. I haven't actually heard from that got in, but I'm sure everything went well. I'm not sure whether it's night time there again. I should just check the local time, but never mind. So Peeler 5.4, 111 mile day. It's a bit less. It is. I mean, she must be running out of breeze already. So that's a little bit less than expected, and she's near enough to 23 miles from the finish. So it's about 4 or 5 hours. 4 or 5 hours she'll be there, and she'll be happy to get in for sure. She's still in touch with the other leaders, so that's good. And we'll now just open this up and go for weather in the next couple of days, which will sort out how the back end of the fleet is going to go for ETAs. But Peeler is about 4 or 5 hours. We want to go further than that. That'll do. That's about it. Get rid of the leaderboard. Okay, so we'll now just pick this through every few hours. 3, 6, 9. Here we go. Boom. Yep, there's a big quiet spot coming. So that's about 12 hours to 14 hours from now. So Adam's going to start to slowly run out of breeze and slow down. Let's see if it holds there. It's getting worse. So we're on the 5th there. 5th. We're coming into the 6th. We're coming up to 2 days. Wow, that's you're probably only talking 70 mile days there. That's the 6th coming into there. So that's 2 days. Okay, now I'm just looking at that. Everyone can see what's going on. There's just a bit of a hole right there towards the end. Now, yep, he's going to get a lot of it because that's over. 70 mile days. He's going to normally you'd say that's 2 days, 240 miles, 120 mile days. That would be 2 days for Adam. I think it's going to take him all of 3 days. So today's Saturday. We've got Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So it's not until Tuesday, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. So if you're lucky, he could be there by the 7th, somewhere there. So 7th, and is that right? Yeah, 7th, and then hang on, what's going on with my system here? It's not the 7th. It is the 7th. Oh, I'm thinking, I'm just working out the timelines for restart, but we've got to get to Mauritius first. Sorry, it's the weekend. I'm having a bad time. Okay, so he's going to get there on about the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and then he's got the whole 6 days. So that'll be the 13th, and then 3 days to Mauritius, if all goes well. So that's 13th, 14th, 16th. He's into Mauritius, so that's not too bad. 25th is 9 days. So Adam's still on track potentially to get the usual 9-day stopover, and then the others behind will maybe lose a bit of time. So I think it'll be maybe 4 days. We'll come back there. Yeah, it'll be 4 days. So they'll get in on the Christian and Jacob will get in 17th into Mauritius, 17th, maybe 18th. There's 5, 6, 7, so they could be down to 7 days. The others will catch up the days for them, except for Josh. Anyway, we'll look at that when we get further down. But about 3 days for Adam, about 4 days from now for Christian and Jacob, and then for the others. So it's 3, 4, and then for the other guys, it's another day and a bit. But they're getting a day's grace for their stopover time. So I hope that makes sense to people. I'm just moving this forward to see what's going on with the restart in Mauritius. And for the weather, I'm going to push that through. That's for the next couple of days. I'm going to just push it through for another day to see what's going to happen with the others. Yeah, they may slow down a bit on day 3, but then there's plenty of breeze again. So it'll cost them a day, maybe a bit. So I'll have a think about that when they get to Rodriguez anyway. Currents. We can have a look at the currents and the clouds, seeing it's the weekend. Let's have a look. So currents, all positive to a degree. No surprises, no big help. That's straightforward. Clouds calming off, should be sunny. Yep, pretty sunny. There's one band of clouds there, but that's for 4 days ahead. Here we go. A bit of a mixed bag for clouds. So that's easy. And we've done the wind, we've done the currents, the sea state, drying right off. So they're going to have a pleasant ride in. All right, that's about it. I don't think we need to look at Cape Town and the seas down there. That's pretty easy. We can get out of here. So I'm going to come back to me here and read you the reports in a minute. Two things. It's the weekend, right? Cop this. That's passion fruit, right? 6 RMB, which is about €1 or so, right? That would cost about this. That's for 6, 7, 8 big passion fruit, and in France that would cost about €8, and we get it for €1 here. It's pretty cool. And okay, so just show you some. I'll show you the boats first, and I'll tell you what's going on. This was one of. Come on, what's going on here? Why is it not doing that? Come on. Okay, this is my little Duck 29 footer, 21 feet on the waterline, 7'6" beam. That was my first real ocean cruising boat. Okay, I built that and over a few years and took off for 3 years in the Pacific, so that was fun. They're not in sequence. That was a 65-foot boat called Ice. Aluminium Radford design expedition boat I bought, but I sold it before I actually used it. Took it through, bought it by truck from Darwin down to Yamba in Australia. Long story. We tried to sail it back, but everything went wrong. Blah blah blah. So I didn't have that for long. Anyway, did a couple of trips around the world. I thought, we're going to the big boats. Okay, this is a whole story in itself. This is a 120 footer. It was my version of a design of a boat called Antarctica at the time, owned by Jean-Louis Attain, and now called Tara, which we ended up trying to buy, but we got gazumped by Peter Blake. Long story, but this was it. That's a Kit Fox Classic 4 on Aeroset floats with folding wings. You'll see it folded into the back of a container. It has a hanger on the back of the boat. This was my dream ship, but that's a whole story in itself. We never got to build it, but lots of good stories come out of that. That was my dream that didn't happen, but I still got the plane. Plane's in the hangar in Tassie. Long story. That's the same as Graham's boat. That was my H28, Walker H28, called Chipaz because I bought it really cheap. So that was Jessica's boat, Jessica Watson's boat. We bought that, support her, blah, blah, blah. This was a really interesting boat, chunk rig boat. I think Graham knows I had this boat. It's a northern 29-foot boat, just bigger than I bought this to do the actual Jester Challenge across the Atlantic. It's a whole story in itself. And Chris Bray, an Aussie mate of mine, bought it. He sailed up through the Arctic and all that sort of stuff. It's a whole interesting story, but it's the same as oh God, I've got his name now. Blondie Hasler and Jester. This was a bigger version of that. He was a bit involved with design. It was a cold motor boat. But anyway, interesting boat. That's the ship. So Hubert Wilkins, we were the first ever people in the world to locate the South Magnetic Pole and claim it. Myself and bloody hell, the geophysicist Charlie Barton out of Canberra. I said, Charlie, I've got a big ship, let's go. So he brought all his stuff on the back. That's the whole story. But we were the first one ever in the history of mankind to actually get on top of the South Magnetic Pole. Long story, you can Google it, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, that was a bit of Sydney, BOC boat, 60-footer that I bought. Turned into an expedition boat to Antarctica. Everyone thought I was crazy, said, don't be stupid, it'll never work. We did a bunch of trips to Antarctica on that, supported our year in Antarctica, flooded the forward compartments 3 times, punched holes in the front. Eventually, it was trapped in the ice when I wasn't on board, broke off 1.5 of the 2 in rudders, punched 5 holes in the hull. It was a whole drama, but we got them out of there and they all survived. But anyway, the funny part there was everyone said I was nuts at the beginning. And that was in 1995, we bought that boat. And every year since then, it's been going to Antarctica. So huge expedition boat. So don't always believe when other people tell you not to go. That's my BOC boat. Everyone knows about that. And I haven't got a picture of the next one because I've only put 5 pictures up. But here's the funny story. What brought this on. I've got a Swan 57 for the Ocean Globe Race, right? And it's the weekend, so I'm waffling on. And it's in refit at the moment. The rigs are down. We've done all the hull and we're doing the engines and electrical and all that sort of stuff. And it comes to the rigs, really nice rigger there. And he's replaced all the standing rigging and so on. And we were going to replace the tracks on the back of the mast because it's only got 1-inch slide tracks, like traditional 1-inch slide tracks. And I've forgotten because it's that long since we've been sort of doing some stuff. I forget how expensive things are. Anyway, to put 2 new tracks up the back of the mizzen mast and the main mast and get the back cars to go with us, it's probably about just to buy the bits and pieces, it's about £10,500. And I thought, shit, I could nearly buy a 580 for that. So that started that old argument, but we're going to postpone that bit and we'll do it later because we can't get the gear quick enough to do it. So that was my weekend drama when you own boats. The bigger boats you own, it's eye-watering stuff. But fortunately, I've got really good people involved. We've got Mark there at Solent Marine in the UK. He's done all the whole beautiful new paint job, all the rest of it. And we've got some really good engineers going to work on that, electrical. It's cool. Hopefully, we'll sail it back. So if someone wants to go for a sail, we'll be leaving UK to sail to France sometime in early November, hopefully. First few weeks of November. I'm going to tell some of the other crew, but yeah, we're going to sail it from Hamburg back to France. Anyway, that's my weekend stuff. So now for the reports, and then I'll go to the questions. The reports. Here it comes. So I said I didn't have a picture of Explorer, but that's 157 that's there. So stand by. Entrant reports. We've got a few. So the last one I did, there's Christian White ones today. So that was a 3 of the 10. So that one's a good one. I've got to read you that. Huge one from Kerry. I might have read you that yesterday. I read you Kerry's big one yesterday. Okay, here's Christian. Argo, light winds today, but we're still making good progress toward Rodriguez. We should get a little bit more wind and some squalls during the night. We should arrive in 4 days during daylight, but I'm a bit worried about the patches of no wind on Sunday. I'm getting heaps of sleep at the moment. Spent quite a lot of time cooking, and overall, I'm really enjoying the passage. That's good. Waves are down to 1 to 1.5 metres. I reckon there was a delay because we were seeing really solid seas on the forecast in the graphic, but I got the impression it was maybe a metre and a half more than it probably should have been, and I think the reports are suggesting that as well. Anyway, waves are down to 1 to 1.5 metres. So we've got nice sailing conditions. Tomorrow I'm going to do some minor sail repairs, as in sail, S-A-L-E, but it's meant to be S-A-I-L. Other people can't smell either, like me. And I can't wait to meet with the family in Rodriguez to have a cool drink. That sounds cool. We did put the for sale section up. That was the other thing, was talking boats. We've now got because I've had shitloads of boats. Anyway, we've got the for sale. Did I mention that? Sign for the boats? I think we did. Yes. Anyway, if you missed it at the beginning, it's at the beginning, and you go to the Class Globe 580 website, and it's there. Okay, from Jacob, just in front of Christian, Bibi, Indian Ocean. Oh boy, I've got to bloody keep hiding these things. Come on. Indian Ocean is quite capricious and hard to take a proper rest. Last 2 days were quite nice, but evenings brings some spooky rain cells around. 450 miles to Rodriguez and looking forward to have a pint with friends. Seems to be a common theme there. Having a pint, having a drink, whatever. Sounds good. Then today, manager Brendan Marsh. This is from Eric. Update, Sun Bear, Friday. Since last report, weather has settled down. Nice sailing around from 15 to 20 knots. Nights are getting colder the further south we go. Last night, I needed my wet weather gear on to keep warm, averaging around 120 nautical miles per day. We should be at Rodriguez Thursday morning, all going well. Had to deploy my bridle with 100 metres of line attached in the heavy seas. It really helped keep the boat stable and on course. Hello to all. Eric, cheers. Okay, Trekker. Hi all. Since the last report, sunshine, calmer seas, life is good on board. F1 weekend. He's going to watch the F1, no doubt, on Netflix or something live. Go Lando Norris. Okay, he's picked his side already. Jasmine, number 2. 80 number. It's really number 88. It's number 2. All good, steady away, not wanting to go more than 120 a day, as currently perfect timing for a morning arrival on Thursday. Boy, okay, sounds cool. It's always good to keep it in the bag, just not for a morning arrival. That's cool. Yeah, she's got a whole day to flex on that. Wind looks like it's going to be a bit confused for a few days, but knowing only about 500 nautical mile left means it doesn't bother me, as it might at the start of a passage. That's true, because you've got an objective and say, okay, you've got so much good weather, or you've got reasonable weather all the way to the finish, no surprise, you can sort of relax, wash your hair, clean your teeth, check all that stuff. The sun is nice, but is starting to feel like a winter sun. I'm holding off, but the jumper may make an appearance pretty soon. Yep, I know exactly what she means. It's really quite good when you don't have to sail with all the cold, wet weather gear on, and the air is actually lighter. It's hard to describe. Anyway, good on your skin. Adam, new manager. Ray, this is Adam's manager. Little Red, less than 280 nautical miles from Port Mathurin, and all's well on board Little Wren. Still tricky to pin down an ETA with the forecast light winds. I agree. Sailing conditions have improved, flying the A3 when possible, though a few localised squalls have kept Adam busy with sail changes. Okay, that's that. So that's all kind of cool. I'll come on here and just say g'day to a few people that are here. G'day, Isla. I say Isla. It's Ilse. Yeah. Tony, thanks for the daily update. My pleasure. Is there any particular challenges for getting into the port of Rodriguez? So we showed that yesterday. It's pretty straightforward. You can see there's a channel going in, and there's an offshore. Once you cross the finish line, you don't, because you're not allowed in the channel to the port during daylight. During nighttime, you can only go in during daylight. Okay, so they've got to wait outside until daytime. They've got radio comms with the Coast Guard there. Probably saw that on Dan's video, and they'll give you final instructions. So, g'day, Steve, Rachel. Where did your interest in boats and sailing start? Comes from the ocean. Okay, a little kid, spearfishing, fishing, swimming, on the beach for holidays, all that sort of stuff, and then surfing. I was surfing from 11. And then once you start surfing, then I saw a surfing sailing film. I was following sailing as well off the beach boats, things like that. But it got serious when I saw the surfing sailing as well. And I thought, wow, that's cool. So I started building the boat to go to all these surf spots. And then you're reading about Robert Louis Johnson and Bernard Tessier and the Hiscots and blah, blah, blah. So it goes, so it's quite good. Which boat to date that you've owned has been your biggest favourite and why? Bounty boat. Beautifully simple and quite adventurous. It was a classic piece of furniture, and it had a sad ending to it, but nonetheless, it was my favourite boat. It was fantastic. The Bounty Boat Expedition was one of my favourite adventures as well because of the simplicity. It was just sails, wood, ropes, nails, screws, and you just go. We did 4,000 miles across the Pacific in this open boat, which was fantastic. It was unbelievable. Really cut to the essence of it. And there's a bit of that, only a little bit. There's a bit of that in the 580 because, as you know, that's where it came from. But there's a lot of Starlink and GPS and chart plotters, AIS and transponders and blah blah blah. So it's a bit different, but at the same time, it's beautifully simple in terms of the boat. I mean, yes, we've got proper sails and blah blah blah, but it's still just little boats. Not a lot to break down. You just keep going. I really liked. There's some videos I see I really like. In fact, both of you may remember that one that Jasmine did about a day in the life of Jasmine on the boat. That really said a lot about what it means to voyage and race in a 580. The one she did the other day, where it's a bit windy and she's out there and she just sort of sticks her head in a bit first, and then just shows you the boat. I think Jane put it up last night, is really cool because it just shows you how simple and easy it is to get miles because it's only a little boat. They're only little sails, you know. So she had no main up and half a jib, and she's trucking along probably 5 knots, you know, average. And the seas had obviously been worse and they died down a bit, but it looked fantastic. I wanted to be her then when I saw that one. I really did want to be her. I thought, wow, because it brought back memories of Trekker. But it's pretty cool, you know, and they've all done 17, they're all past 17,000 miles now from Lagos. And to me, I'm still stunned. I can't, you know, I really look at it and think, wow, it's amazing what they're doing. And there's still a lot of people in the world that we've got to tell because they're all very impressive sailors, and it's a really cool. No, I won't call it an impossible dream, but certainly none of us knew what was going to happen. Touch wood, it's not over yet. Don't get me wrong. You know, I know what's ahead, what lays ahead for the next couple of months. Or I say that in terms of the potential of what's ahead in the next couple of months, not as if no one knows what's going to happen. But it's a hell of a story so far. Anyway, I digress. It's the weekend. So have a good weekend, and if all goes well, I will see you tomorrow morning. But I won't see you the next morning because I'm travelling. I'm heading back to Les Sables d'Olonne, but I'll be able to do the tracker update, and then as soon as it's finished, bolt. And so I'll be off the air for Monday, but I should be back on the air for Tuesday. So we'll see. Okay, thanks for that. I'm going to put this up as my. Oh. Come on. I'm trying to get just one closeout screen, and it's my. There we go. That's the end. Bye bye.